Hi guys, my name is Melanie Ludy and welcome back to my channel. So I've been focusing a lot on productivity, but there's a lot of parts to productivity. It's routines, trying to be efficient, knowing the tech tools, but it's also having the right physical tools and having the right space to keep yourself organized. One of the big drains for me is paper clutter. One of my things that I came up with to help me deal with this paper clutter is to have a nice place to put it and a nice way to organize it. Today's video is all about how I made my basket, all from stuff I had at home. In fact, this box cost me $0 to make. Let's get into it. Before I get too excited though, yes, you did spot that right. I am now engaged. He made it really so special and memorable for me, so he gets all of the brownie points. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel down below and follow me on Instagram at MissLudy6. Now let's get into it. Okay, so I'm gonna actually make my Sunday basket, which is something I heard about from the Minimal Mom, actually. And it's really just kind of like a basket to store all of your papers and things, so you have a at-home filing kind of system. I think mine's really just going to be that, like a filing system, but it's nice to have a good name like the Sunday basket. So I'll put some narration over this to kind of talk about what I'm doing.
Okay, so here we go. First, I have my bag and I'm just kind of looking at it to see how the print works. So you see how it like kind of cuts off on that corner there? It happens all the way across the bag. So I can't really use that to go all the way around. And then I'm showing you those little tabs on the inside of the bag that I'm going to save for later. And I go to cut it and then I realize there's a folded edge there. So my thought was just unravel the whole bag, pull it apart at the seams, give me more material to work with. But you see what I mean about that pattern? It kind of cuts off. All right, so next I'm just going to take these little strings out and I'm going to put them to the side. Originally I didn't end up planning on using them, but they just seemed so well made that I ended up finding a use for them later on. And there are the ties I'm going to show you right here. It has that like metal clip around it. Really provides a lot of stability. All right. So at this point, I'm trying to figure out how I want to put this bag around the box and how I'm just gonna play with all these edges, because there's a folded over bit and I'm looking at the box. I realized that I don't need to make it that big. So I'm gonna trim this box down so I can use more of that bag. So I grabbed my pencil here. I have a fondness for mechanical pencils. They never need to be sharpened. Also, you're going to see me like drawing lines for about 30 seconds sped up, which meant it took me about 5 minutes to do it in real life. So I'm one of those crafters that I'm just kind of going to go for it. And like, I know this phrase, measure twice, cut once, but that's never really been my style. And it comes to bite me in the butt for this kind of next section. But, well, you know, like, in theory, you should measure from the bottom of your box and then make sure it's even all the way around, or you could just kind of wing it like I do. Also, pro tip, for cutting your box here, a serrated knife is going to be 10 times better than any pair of scissors you have. So I just grabbed a smaller bread knife that I had. And then you just saw me score the box to make sure that it was straight across, because I tend to butcher lines. All right, so now I'm starting to just kind of grab my bag, make sure I have the print going in the right way, and figure out how I'm going to really distribute this material now that my box is cut down to size. And there's like this little lip at the top of the gift bag. I decided to put that over the edge of the box to kind of give it that nice crisp top edge. But then I have to figure out how I want to use the side of it. I also cut that corner there to make sure it would fit so I could like fold it over nicely. But I had to figure out how wide I wanted this box to go. Do I want to wrap it the whole way? How do I like the print distribution? And there was a lot of sitting and thinking about it. I kind of chose a difficult box because this bag had print on it. But, you know, if you were to choose a simpler bag of maybe just one color, it really wouldn't matter so much. So here I'm starting to measure how long I'm going to cut for this box, and I left about an inch or two. I start to plug in my glue gun to make sure I can tap that down. That's actually a mini glue gun that I have there. So now that I have my first one cut, I'm going to grab the rest of my bag and I'm going to cut out the second side of the long waist box, make sure they're about the same, and I left the overhang for going over the edge of the back of the box as well. So make sure you leave a little bit extra on each end. And then I'm going to start cutting little slits at the top to make sure the edges fold over nicely from the top and the side. When I bend it around the corner, I'm going to start gluing these down and we'll go from there. Here you see me trying to match up the sides of the stripes to make sure the pattern's all going the same way. I'll get to that more later. So that was one of the slits I made so I could bend it around the corner, bend one side over the side, and bend the other one over the front, another slit, so that it was the side and the bottom all nice. And I didn't really go crazy with the glue here, and there's actually no glue on the front surface of the box, just because I know hot glue and paper can sometimes distort the color and the shape of it, and I just didn't want to take that risk. So I just glued down the edges that were inside the box on the bottom and side. I'm also going to make an effort to cover up that price tag on the side there, but we'll get there after we get the fronts on the box, front and back really. And there we have the front and back finished. So now it's time to start figuring out the sides. I had this lilac sort of tissue paper and I just thought it would be a nice touch, so I grabbed it at the beginning and didn't really have a plan for it. But then that's the side of the original bag and it's not quite tall enough for the box, so I decided to put that tissue paper there and cover it with that. So that tissue paper is folded in thirds and then I folded it in half so I could use one for each side. I have like 2 inches of overlay on the side and then I folded it down into the box to kind of keep it stable. Then I start gluing that down, and here I struggle with the glue gun because you know it's like running out of that stick, so it's running out of glue, but it doesn't really fit in because it's not melted down enough. Oh, I hate that. I hate that with the glue sticks. But we push through. Now I'm just tacking down that tissue paper on the inside as well. Make sure it doesn't pop up when I don't want it to. And then we repeat for the other side. Again, making sure that it's not overlaying onto the front and back of the box as much. Tack that all down, and you see I'm going to be able to cover that price tag at the bottom. Perfect. And there I have that piece, so I made sure that the stripes lined up. I cut it so that there was about a 1/4 inch of the overlay. Really, I should have done more of a 1/2 inch, especially because I'm folding it by hand. And like the 1/4 inch was just too small and too nubby. But I made it work here, and I just kind of glued along the edge and then folded the paper to suit. I also left the bottom of the bag folded under a little bit, just because it created that nice crisp edge, and I'm clearly not a perfectionist crafter here. Like, straight lines are like, maybe. So I just kind of went with this edge that was already straight and I let it go from there. So I tacked down each side, and then you'll see me come back and I'm going to tack down the top of it actually, just to make sure it doesn't pop up. But I'm repeating it, I think, on the second side now, again, trimming it down. I did not learn my lesson. I still cut it like a 1/4 inch instead of the 1/2 inch. Learn from my mistake. Also, my lighting decided to be really strange at this point. I tried to fix it a little bit with color grading. All right, now we've gotten to those gift bag strings that I saved. So I just take the scissors and I kind of poke a small hole, and then I thread the little straps through. Again, I'm eyeballing this. A good crafter would measure like 1.5 inches down and like make sure they're about 1.5 inches apart. Do as I say, not as I do. And there we go, all finished. Okay, so this is just a close-up of the box to show you like that slit I cut. So then I folded the one piece from the side onto the bottom and then from the top onto the bottom. And then also that edge from the bottom of the gift bag there. I'm really not good at making straight lines. So that one I just kept from the bag because I knew they measured right. Really do as I say, not as I do. I'm real lazy with these lines, but that's also that folded edge that you should make a 1/2 inch, not a 1/4 inch like I did. But I wanted to make sure the stripes are all going the same way on the side and the front of the box, just to kind of give it a little bit of cohesion there. The bottom is a little meh, but you're not going to look at the bottom, so it's fine. I probably did have enough extra on that gift bag to fill the bottom if I wanted, but I wasn't that committed. Also, I really do love those handles that were on the gift bag. They really were very nice. And like here's that metal piece. So it has like a kind of sharp edge so I could stick it through the hole. But when you pull on it, it makes that T shape so that it just goes through that bag or stays on that edge as it was. And here's the completed box. I really do love it. I think it looks great.
Thank you guys for watching this episode where I made my kind of Sunday basket, as it were. I hope you enjoyed this style of video. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see more of this sort of thing from me. I'd like to see what you guys are interested in. Also, tune in next week when I finish reorganizing my office and decorate it into a more productive workspace and joyful workspace for me. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.